Hi. So it has been a while since I'm started to present you the cheapest way to have your prime lens for the Canon EOS M, starting from 8 millimeters to 12 millimeters, 25 millimeter, 35 millimeter, 50 millimeters, and the C-mount based lenses, mainly you can obtain from CCTV surveillance cameras, ancient surveillance cameras, because they do not have a value, so it's very affordable, and they are really fast lenses, like having a maximum aperture of 1.8, 1.7, 1.4, 1.6, or 1.3. So they are really fast lenses, and that's cool. That's great. But there's another way to obtain to have C-mount based lenses, maybe not that sharp or even sharper, but coming from video cameras, ancient video cameras that have the same thing. They have the same thing, have C-mount lenses. Now, be careful. And this is advice because unfortunately, I made the same mistake. Look at this camera. Beautiful. This is a Yashinon T3 Cinecam. Beautiful example. It's working in a working condition with all the lenses. So it has 16, 38, and 12 millimeter. That's beautiful. So I bought it thinking that I can just put it on my Canon EOS M, because I thought to myself, look at here, look at this beauty. This is just amazing. And I thought to myself, big lenses, so obviously are with the C-mount. And it's difficult to have information, to get information about this kind of cameras. But look at here, extremely small thread. So this one is a D-mount, in fact. Be careful, because the camera was for 8 millimeter film. So that's just logical. Not for me, wasn't at the beginning, that this is a D-mount. This is a C-mount. Look at the difference. So these are the first things that you have to be attentive if you want to buy ancient cameras. This is an 8 millimeter film, and this is this is for the 60 millimeter film. Now, the second one was easy, because even somebody without experience could see that this is a 60 millimeter film for 60 millimeter film camera, so that these lenses are great. Now, you have to be careful with you have to be careful if you enroll yourself in this kind of adventure, because as you saw it, first time for me, I bought this beautiful camera, but it has a D-mount. So, I mean, you can adjust D-mount to C-mount, and then use the converter ring from C-mount to Canon EOS M EFM mount. but you know, it's just way too small, so you have a lot of vignetting, so it doesn't really make sense. So as beautiful as it is and usable, because this is in the working conditions, like let me just demonstrate to you. Listen. So yeah, it is working. I have even inside a film, so this is really in mint condition, and it's a beautiful cinema camera, 8 millimeters. But this one also, it's still extremely beautiful. 16 millimeters camera, and this one has two objectives, two lenses. The first one is a 25 millimeter 1.9, and this one is a 75 millimeters starting from f4, the maximum aperture. Now, sometimes you can find sharp lenses in this, but unfortunately for us, or for those who are really low in budget, the problem is that these tend to get really expensive, because these are items that are collectibles. So even a camera like this can be sold extremely high price. So I got the chance. I bought it from a vendor that didn't know the value of this camera, so it sold me extremely cheap. But yeah. Many times these lenses are mainly for the characters. So these lenses are having great, amazing characters. Now, there are a few things that you have to know if you are adventuring yourself. Let me just focus. If you are adventuring yourself in this field and you say, well, yeah, that's a good chance to discover, you know, old lenses that have a lot of character. But you have to be careful. So first thing, they are not always cheap. People tend to sell them quite expensively because of the value of being collectibles, right? And secondly, they are old. Many times these cameras were not protected, or even if they were protected, they are not the same like the surveillance cameras lenses. The surveillance cameras lenses were built to be weatherproofed, to be there in harsh conditions. So even though they are old, they aged well. So their conditions, they do not have dust inside, no mushrooms, nothing. So they are really clean. And generally, the rings are also fluid, so they do not have that problem. But these cameras, unfortunately, they are not always aging well. Like for this one, for example, the aesthetics a little bit it's not so nice, and I was disappointed because, you know, to be fancy, to be really cool cameras, these are, for example, were chromed, so there is a chrome surface on it, and unfortunately the chrome is starting to come off. So yeah, it's quite shameful. And secondly, many times you can find the lenses inside the glass is full with dust, but unfortunately many times it's not just dust that you find inside, but mushroom also. So that's really bad. because in that case you have to disassemble the lens. You should take out the glasses, clean the glasses, and that's very difficult, and then put it back. And this maneuver is extremely difficult because they are aged, and it's very difficult to disassemble them. I mean, catastrophically. I even had unfortunate occasion to disassemble and just couldn't put it back, and I even had one glass that I just break it. So yeah. And another thing that can arrive with these old lenses is that the fat, the grays that they used for the lenses is badly aged, so that the rings are just moving pretty difficultly, and so that's another problem, because you have to disassemble, took down the grease, re-put the grease. So yeah, that's just, so there's a lot of caveats, there's a lot of things to know if you are buying old camera lenses. Firstly, it's better to buy it directly for the vendor and being there and be able to look at it and analyze it, like from the fluidity or ring fluidity, and then the proper glasses inside. So that's really a must. Now let me just show you what, when I'm saying character, really means. Let me just put it, the 25mm on the camera, and you will see the difference. I am back, and we are on the Bell & Howell 25mm at maximum aperture 1.9, and this is what character means. I mean, this is the lens coming from this cinema camera, the 16mm Bell & Howell 200 magazine camera, and this is what character really means. Obviously, I personally like this lens, and I love old lenses that have a lot of characters. And this is another way where you can have some kind of cinema lens lineups. And if you want to adventure yourself in this field, just be attentive. Do not forget, be careful with the lenses, with the glasses inside, if they are proper, no dust inside, or no mushrooms inside. And then if the focusing and aperture rings are fluid or not. These are the main things that you have to look up. And with the C-mount, be careful. So you know, video cameras for 60mm films are just fine. The lenses are usable on the Canon Eosm, but those with 8mm just not usable for the Canon Eosm. These are the main things that you should know. Tell me if you are using this kind of lenses also, and what are your opinions about them. And well, if you are not subscribed yet to my YouTube channel, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the thumbs up button. Thank you for watching. See you next time.